Hey, Professor Virgil. So this week, within week 2, we talked about motivation in teams. Also, if you don't see me looking at the camera, sometimes I'm also referring to some of my notes I have written down just so I can stay on track. And if I sound crazy, it's because since coming back from Columbia, I don't know what's going on, but something is going on. So if I sound a little nasally, that's why. But moving on, this week we explored motivation in teams and what really drives people to work or what really drives people at work, and how these different theories apply to team performance, and how sometimes, even despite our best efforts, motivational strategies can backfire. Given more onto how motivation can possibly backfire, going through the chapters and the slides brought me to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I was reminded how motivation is always built on foundation of needs, from basic survival up to self-actualization, relating back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Something that really stood out to me within the slides was specifically Carmen's example. She was starting to feel fulfilled. Well, she started out feeling fulfilled, but then her recent stresses about her student loans showed her psychological and safety needs were not met anymore, pulling her motivation like on a downward spiral on the pyramid. Next, I want to dive a little bit into equity theory. This helped me understand why Carmen felt left out or felt disengaged. Specifically, when Claudia got hired, she felt like she was putting just as much as work into whatever she was doing, but not receiving the same recognition or rewards. So it honestly just led to her feeling inequity within the office, or perceiving that there was some type of inequity within the office. That leads me into expectancy theory. The offer of the top floor worked for Claudia, but not so much for Carmen. It felt because the reward wasn't really necessarily meaningful. It was mentioned that she was afraid of heights. Also, it could have been led to her, or it could have led to her believing that the possible reward would not have led to as promised if she actually put in the work, or it would have led to the promised outcome, basically. Instrumentality, expectancy, and valiance have to all be there for motivation to even kick in or align or be on the forefront of something. And that just wasn't there. To talk a little bit more about the EQ of groups. Teams work better when they have a shared understanding or emotional awareness of what's going on. That means not just knowing your role on the team or within the group, but also reading the room for yourself and your team members, just so you can have a better sense together to how to move forward or address something at hand, which makes group cohesiveness and group thinking strengthen at an all-time level. Cohesiveness can strengthen team loyalty and team building, team bond, but if taken too far, it can have the group leading to group thinking, where it can become challenging to stop bad ideas. As a leader, you should encourage respectful discernment to keep decision making sharp, but also encourage problem solving so you can keep going in the long run. What stood out to me this week about motivation is that it's never one size fits all. What motivates a person might completely demotivate someone else. So you have to understand how people are as individuals, their needs, their fears, their values, and just to truly learn that understanding, or have that basis of understanding, to be able to truly lead and build a good team, or matter of fact, a great team.